If you step on board a commercial jet today, the chances of it being an Airbus or a Boeing are almost guaranteed, barring perhaps Embraer. But these two aviation giants, who've held a comfortable duopoly for the last 30 to 40 years, might just find themselves up against a new kind of competitor. Aircraft manufacturer Comac, a Chinese state-owned company, is looking to break into the market and directly rival Boeing and Airbus. In November 2020, they flew their brand new C919 at an air show, showing the world that Comac, as a major player in the industry, may not just be some distant aspiration, but soon enough, a real, palpable reality. The Chinese commercial aviation market is the second largest after the US, with around 660 million passengers in China alone in 2019. Boeing predicts that by 2035, the country will need over 6,800 new aircraft, making it the world's first trillion-dollar aviation market. With COVID-19 bringing much of air travel to a halt, Comac believes they may finally have a window of opportunity to enter this aggressive market and start narrowing the gap with Western manufacturers. They have a total of 3 aircraft in production right now. The first is the ARJ-21. A regional jet that shares many design elements with the McDonnell Douglas MD-80. It boasts a 78 to 90 seat capacity, a range of 3,700 kilometers, and a total order count of over 600, almost all of which are by Chinese airlines. Its closest competition is the Airbus A220 and Embraer E-Jet family. The second aircraft, and perhaps the one people are most familiar with, is the C919. Which is designed to be a direct competitor to the A320neo and 737 MAX. However, since its inception in 2007, it's been plagued with a variety of technical problems that delayed its maiden flight until only 4 years ago. During that time, Comac has been accused of commercial espionage, with Western partners claiming hackers have been spying on their suppliers as a means of gaining shortcuts to accelerate the plane's development. Naturally, Comac has strongly denied these accusations, pressing on with production, with a total of over 1,000 commitments for the jet, a seat capacity of 158 to 168, and a range of over 4,000 kilometers. The last project, the CR929, is perhaps the most interesting, as it's actually a joint venture between China and Russia, known as the China-Russia Commercial Aircraft International Corporation, or CRAIC for short. This aircraft, being the largest of the 3 variants, is set to compete with the A330 and 787 and has a seat capacity of 280 and a range of 12,000 kilometers. That being said, the aircraft is still only in the conceptual design stage, with a projection of entering the market in 2026. The million-dollar question, however, is this. Is Comac a legitimate competitor to Boeing and Airbus? There's a good reason why these two giants have maintained such a stranglehold over the industry, and that's because they simply make great planes. Of course, I cannot say that without mentioning the 737 MAX crisis, which was, without a doubt, one of the biggest mistakes in aviation history, but without trying to sound callous, it does show how a strong company can prevail even in the face of tragedy. It's not like the moment the MAX was grounded, everyone suddenly vowed to never fly Boeing again. People knew Boeing had done a terrible thing, the repercussions were severe, and the company paid for it. But it did not negate their 100-year history of building some of the world's best planes, like the 747. While China has experience in building military planes, passenger aircraft are a different beast entirely. Comac is a newcomer to the industry, and it's going to take a lot of work for airlines around the world to start paying attention to them. Most major airlines have long established associations with Boeing and/or Airbus, who often give out significant discounts on aircraft in exchange for their loyalty. And why should they not stay loyal? It's easier for pilot training because there's no need to introduce a brand new ecosystem. It's easier for maintenance crews who already have experience with the components of the manufacturer's aircraft. And it's also better for the airline's public image, as passengers want to fly on an aircraft they know to be safe and reliable. Comac also lacks in their technology. The C919, while newer than its equivalents, actually has a significantly lower range, even though it's advertised to compete directly against the A320neo and 737 MAX. In fact, its range is not only inferior to the latest Western narrowbody jets, but even to the previous generation, such as the A320ceo. As you can see from this graphic, the standard C919 shows just how far off it stands from the competition, while the longer-range C919 is only slightly better than some of its older generation counterparts. But it's not all doom and gloom for Comac. Arguably, their biggest advantage is their aircraft's price. While we do not yet know what the C919 will cost officially, estimates place it at around $50 million per unit, which is about half that of the A320neo and about 60% cheaper than the MAX 8. For airlines in developing countries that are eager to build an air travel infrastructure, the cheaper cost may be enough to win some of them over. And then of course you have the fact that Comac is state-owned, which also has its own advantages. Among other things, they aren't dependent on customers or sufficient quarterly earnings to stay afloat. China seems quite happy with funding the company as it labors to catch up to Western competitors, absorbing short-term losses in an effort to achieve long-term goals. They've even launched a government plan in Beijing to promote the use of Chinese-manufactured passenger jets, which essentially mandates Chinese airlines to buy their country's planes. Now all that's left is for Comac to deliver. While going against Boeing and Airbus is certainly no small feat, there is no denying that the Chinese aviation market is lucrative, which gives Comac a great starting position. Even though I personally don't see Comac dominating Western markets anytime soon, I do believe there is a high chance they will see success within China and many other developing markets. Anyway, thank you guys very much for tuning in to this video. Please let me know what you guys think of Comac in the comments section below, and I will of course try my best to respond to as many of you as I can. In the meantime, have a great day, and I will see you all very soon. Cheers.